Good evening, everyone. It is 5:08 PM and I call this public meeting to order. I want to thank everyone who is joining us this evening. If you want to make a public comment on the items listed under closed session agenda, please listen carefully to the directions provided by the clerk. Mrs. Martinez?
Public hearing for visitors who wish to address the board on closed session items. 15 minutes of this portion of the meeting are reserved for the members of the public to address the board on closed session items. Speakers seeking to comment on other items are requested to make those comments during the public comment portion of the meeting at 6:30 PM. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. The school board is prohibited by law from taking action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda, and no adverse conclusion shall be drawn if the school board does not respond to public comment at this time. If you wish to address the board on an item included in this section of the agenda, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they appear on your screen. Comments provided in writing will be read after the live comments.
Thank you,
President
Mrs. Mar-
Salazar,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
we do not have participants who wish to address the board at this time.
Thank you, Mrs. Martinez. Seeing none, hearing none, I close public hearing and adjourn to closed session to discuss items 1 through 1D. The board will reconvene at the conclusion of the closed session. Good evening. It is 6:44 PM and I call this regular meeting to order. Welcome to tonight's board meeting. I would like to welcome the media and everyone joining us in person and via Zoom. If you would like to make a public comment, please listen carefully to the directions provided by the clerk at the opening of each public comment period during the meeting. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, staff, and members of the public, I'd like to remind us all of our vision and our mission this evening. Our vision states that Madera Unified will set the standard for hard work, creativity, and resiliency with a fearless drive to continuously improve. And our mission states that we are committed to creating and sustaining a culture enabling Madera Unified students to experience an unparalleled educational journey that is intellectually, socially, and personally transformative. That is our business this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Roll call. At this time, I ask everyone joining the meeting to please silence any electronic devices that are not linked to this meeting. Mrs. Martinez, please call the roll.
Trustee Duque Martinez,
Present.
Trustee Garza, Trustee Ahmad, Trustee Cortez,
Here.
Trustee Dybert,
Here.
Trustee Fleek,
Here.
Trustee Seibert,
Here.
Clerk Mendoza,
Here.
President Salazar.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Trustee Cortez, would you please lead us in the flag salute?
Everybody please stand. Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible.
Thank you, Trustee Cortez. Tonight's scheduled invocation will be provided by Pastor Derek Pearl of First Christian Church. I invite Pastor Pearl to the podium.
Actually, it's by Zoom tonight. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead, Pastor.
Will you pray with me, please? Father God, we thank you for tonight and the business you have for us to discuss regarding Madera Unified School District. I want to thank you again for just a strong start to this school year, and my prayer is for teachers, students, and faculty to be blessed this year, that you would guide them and that you would protect them, and that there would be breakthroughs in learning and knowledge. And God, I thank you for putting these these board members in place to decide what's best for Madera Unified School District. And God, we thank you for your continued provision and how you guide us and direct us each and every day. We thank you for this time together. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Paul. Closed session reportable action, Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, in closed session on August 8th of 2023, the governing board took action to dismiss the employee of a classified registrar. The employee did not appeal the dismissal. This report out is being conducted in accordance with Government Code 5497.1A5. The result of the roll call were as follows: 5 ayes, 0 nays, 1 abstention, and 1 absent.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Adoption of the agenda, Mrs. Martinez.
Action to add or delete items from any portion of the agenda or to discuss any consent agenda items must be taken prior to adoption of the agenda.
All right, I'm listening to it on my phone.
Superintendent Lyle, does staff have items to add or remove from the agenda?
We do not this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent. Trustees, do you have items to add or delete from the agenda? Trustee Dybert? No.
I don't.
Trustee Cortez?
No.
Trustee Fleet?
No.
Trustee Seibert?
No.
Clerk Mendoza?
No.
Myself, no. Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Trustees, okay, I'm sorry. Trustees, do I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented? Please state your name when making a motion and second the motion.
Clerk Mendoza, I move to approve the agenda. Adopt the agenda as presented.
Thank you.
Trustee Fleek, all second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Clerk Mendoza and second by Trustee Fleet to adopt agenda as presented. Ms. Martinez, please hold the board of record for the record.
Trustee Duque Martinez,
Yes.
trustee Garza, trustee Ahmad, trustee Cortez,
Yes.
trustee Dybert,
Yes.
trustee Fleek,
Yes.
trustee Seibert,
Yes.
clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
President Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar, I counted 7 ayes and 0 noes, abstentions, and 1 absent. 2 of the votes were preferential.
Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Student Board Representative Report. Laura Mendoza Soria at Madera High School and Vanessa Martinez Laria of Madera South High School. I invite Laura Mendoza Soria to present Madera High School Student Representative Report.
Excuse me. There you go.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, Board of Trustees, and members of the public. I hope you are all doing well today. I would like to start introducing who I am. My name is Laura Mendoza. I am a senior at Madera High School. Some things I take part at Madera High School is being the vice president of the hiking club and the class of 2024 treasurer and secretary. Some other things I participate in is being in the FCCLA culinary class, the My Club, and Lean Crew. The FCCLA is an organization around California State, and currently our leader is Mrs. Dexco. In the pictures above, it shows, it's the past slide, sorry. On the 2 top corners, these pictures shows that we're our members of our SCCLA who went to the Denver, Colorado conference. These students won an award of having the first female leader, having the first leader who is a woman in 30 years. The bottom picture on the right is four different types of books where teachers around are teachers leaders of FCCLA discuss their favorite recipe and along with their steps to it. FCCLA Culinary is an ROP class and a Culinary 1 class and a Culinary 2 class. The ROP class this past Sunday participated in the Madera District Fair and competed in the chocolate cookie competition. They placed third. Our ASB leadership, these students for 2023 to 2024 students were in a camp for boot camp, boot camp during our summer vacation. These students learn how to do team bonding and the basics of being an ASB. These students also learn what is meant to be an ASB leader and member. Link Crew leaders went through a training to help our upcoming freshmen learn about our campus. We also gave them a tour. They also met some amazing staff upon our Madera High School campus. Cheer and dance. During the summer break, cheer and dance went through the cheer camp for 3 days. They learned new choreography and stunts. This event was held at Madera South High School. Participants like Madera South, Madera North, and Matilda Torres cheerleaders and dance team came to this event to learn new things. Carlos Aheria was one of our first inspirational speakers that came to Madera High. He talked how it's important to tell all of our stories, and one of his favorite mottos is, "Your story is worth telling, hearing, remembering, and valuing." Senior Sunrise is also one of our first events held at Madera High School this year. Students were able to come at 5:30 in the morning, along with their friends, to experience the sunrise together and create more high school memories. CFI recognition, Judy Schaubeck, otherwise known as Mrs. Schaubeck, by students. This is an amazing PE teacher and also a sophomore head coach. Back to school night. Link Crew's leaders help parents find their children's classrooms and help help their children meet their teachers and learn more about how their child behaves in class and what their grades look like. Parents had an opportunity to learn about events happening at school. Club Rush. Club Rush allows students and staff members to come along during lunch and find a club and organization they are interested in and want to take part in. Some of these clubs and organizations could be Mexican American Club, the Maya Club, the Hiking Club, the CSI Club, and CSA Club. The fall rally includes games for students and staff in the crowd to complete based off their year they graduate. This year theme was Yoriland, which was Nickelodeon. The cheer and dance team performed during the rally, as well as the football players gave a speech. Our head band and choir group performed. Stadium Road Showdown is a great football game to come and enjoy with your family. We go against our rivals, Madera South High School, last Friday. Our football team won 0-48. And additionally, our blue crew on the right side picture, our blue crew members came along and gathered a group of students to be our flag runners. For every time our team made a touchdown, a home touchdown, they ran the flags and had a blast. We were able to keep the trophy and have new medals on our things to keep on our tradition at Madera High School. Some upcoming events are the Fresno Area College Night on December 13th, which is tomorrow. On Friday, we have the Hispanic Heritage Kickoff Link Crew Freshman Tailgate at the home football game. On September 20 to 24, we have our senior portraits at Madera High School. September 22, we have our Hispanic Heritage, sorry, I can't say that word, symposium. Thank you so much. October 23rd, we have our first hiking trip. Sorry for the name, but it is called Jackass Lakes. And once again, I'm sorry. September 26th, we have our yearbook picture makeup day. On October 2nd, sorry. Academic planning day for non-students. Students will not be coming to school on that day. On October 9 to 13, we have homecoming week. Homecoming week will be a full week of students dressing up and just having a great spirit. And thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mendoza Soria. I invite Vanessa Martinez Lyra to present the Madera South High School Student Representative Report.
Good evening, President Salazar, Superintendent Lyle, Clerk Mendoza, and all board members and community members. My name is Vanessa Martinez Lira, and I am a senior at Madera South High School. I will be presenting information on behalf of Madera South High School. First, I would like to share a little bit about myself. My name is Vanessa Martinez. I am 16 years old, born and raised in Madera. I am currently a senior at Madera South and as well as ASB secretary for the class of for the 2023 and 2024 school year. For a hobby, I like to volunteer. I am currently volunteering at Heinz Hospice Circle of Friends on Tuesdays afternoons, and on Thursdays, I volunteer at my local church as an office assistant. My plans after high school is to attend a 4-year college, to become a registered nurse or ultrasound technician. We kicked off the school year with many exciting events, from welcoming our stallions to campus on the first day with a cereal breakfast, to kicking off the school year with a guest speaker, Carlos Ojeda Jr., to hosting the first rally and a banana split day. ASB leadership has been excited to make this school year memorable for our students and to start the year strong. Club Rush brought together all 40 of our clubs and organizations on campus and showed the stallions, both new and returning, how to get involved on campus. All clubs were excited to be back and showcase their group to the student body. BSU, our Black Student Union, kicked off the school year with a big recruitment party. Members brought new friends to learn about BSU, play trivia games regarding Black excellence, and learn about and share cultural sound food together. In 1 year, MSHS BSU has grown from 6 members to 43. We hosted our annual Back to School Night Carnival. Stallions families had the opportunity to come on campus for a barbecue dinner and meet the Stallion staff at the various booths. Our future Stallions were also welcome with activities, face painting, and photos with Stanley to keep them occupied. FFA wins a big at the Madera Fair. Here are some of the notable wins. Supreme Grand Champion Meat Rabbit by Wendy Luis Santos. Matthew Machado won FFA Advanced Showmanship in Rabbits, KV, and Pigeon Goats. Sarai Madriz named Outstanding Pigeon Goat Exhibitor. Novice Dairy Showmanship winner Tori Hurd. Swine Group won 3 FFA breed championships. Beef and Dairy won Clean Barn Awards. Small Animal Round Robin, first place Matthew Machado and fourth place Sarai Madriz. Large Animal Round Robin, seventh place Wendy Luis Santos. Madera South PE classes, in collaborations with Taurus PE classes, gave a presentation and activity to educate our students and athletes on the 9/11 tragedy. One of the activities was to simulate with our kids the 1,900 stairs with 45 libras climbed by the New York firefighters. It was a powerful activity. Madera South Country hosted the annual Dennis DeWitt Invitational on August 26th on our Madera South campus. We had over 19 teams compete and our Stallion girls team placed second in the large school division. It was a great success and will continue to be on our campus in the future. Go Stallions. Madera South Wrestling have been hosting the Mules Purple Pyramid Wrestling Duels since the second week of school. We will host the Mules JV Championship this Thursday and the Mules Purple Pyramid Championships this Friday. Madera South hosted the Stadium Road Showdown dinner last Tuesday. Madera 20 over 30 club sponsored the meal. It was a great success. Additionally, our cheer team inspired some future Stallions as it was also our annual cheer youth night. It was the Friday night rival game and the Stallions were not victorious by the event in our home stadium was exciting and successful. Here are some future events. We are excited to kick off the senior event with Senior Sunrise and are particularly excited about our Home Sweet Homecoming candy theme homecoming week. We will be keeping some new traditions like skit night, adding some exciting new events like our film and float movie night pool party, and bringing back some old traditions with some new modifications like the parade overall. There is a lot to look forward to. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Martinez Lyra. Student Board Member Information and Report. Emily Duque Martinez of Torres High School and Mia Garza of Alternative Education is absent today. So Trustee Duque Martinez, I invite you to share your report with the board.
Thank you. Buenas tardes. Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, staff, and members of the public. My name is Emily Duque Martinez. I hope you all are doing well and maintaining good health. Before I begin sharing, I would like to disclose some insight on who I am and what I intend to do throughout my position as a student board member. Like I mentioned before, my name is Emily, or Trustee Duque Martinez. I am representing Torres High School, where I am commencing my junior or 11th grade year. I come from a family of immigrants who have worked immensely hard in order for me to be allowed the opportunities I have today. Throughout my life, they have constantly reminded me that the way in which I use my voice holds power for not only myself, but those I use it for. It is because of this that I am able to express with you all that I intend to be the voice for those who feel they don't have one. I understand what it feels like to speak without truly being heard, as if I was transparent and everyone was seeing right through me. I'm here to ensure my student body and overall community that I am someone who will be making the time to communicate with them about their questions, comments, and/or concerns in order to create a beneficial environment for everyone involved. I thank you all for taking the time to be here today. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
We go down to communications, student and staff recognition, President of the Classified Employees of the Year Award, Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the public, and for all of our board members, this is a really special time of year. And this year, we're lucky to have Mary Siegel from the Classified Personnel Commission to come up to the podium tonight to honor our recipient. And this is a very high honor indeed.
Good evening, President Salazar, Superintendent Lyle, and members of the board. My name is Mary Siegel, and I'm the Personnel Specialist Lead for the Personnel Commission, and it is my pleasure to introduce the Loretta Edwards Classified Employee of the Year Award. This annual award is in honor of Loretta Edwards, who served as an exemplary and dedicated administrative assistant to the chief academic officers and also served as the CSCA Madera chapter president. She served Madera Unified School District from 1966 and retired in 2007. This award recognizes employees who show exemplary individual achievement, contribution, and performance in their jobs and other related duties beyond their own offices. The award criteria is based on leadership service, outstanding service to the district, commitment to the students, and community involvement in support of the district's vision and mission. This year, we had 10 nominees, and it was a very difficult decision for the selection committee. We would like to thank this year's selection committee, which consists of Ruben Mendoza, the board clerk and board of trustees, Tim Riche from the Madera Linkage Foundation, and also David Hernandez, one of our personnel commissioners. This employee was nominated by Vice President Elizabeth Saldivar for her leadership and dedication to Sierra Vista Elementary School. She has helped in organizing school events for her peers, and the communication with teachers and parents never goes unnoticed. She volunteers to be the school's mascot, volunteers at the school carnival, math night, open house, and many other events. She always comes with a positive attitude and greets the Sierra Vista parents with a big smile and inviting hello. She is a true champion for always generating ways to help the Spanish-speaking parents in the educational process. Her understanding and respect for the cultural and education backgrounds of families is amazing. Now it is my pleasure to announce Paula Garibay, paraprofessional at Sierra Vista Elementary School, as this year's recipient of the 2023 Loretta Edwards Classified Employee of the Year Award. Your name will be engraved on a perpetual plaque as the 2023 recipient for the MUSD Loretta Edwards Classified Employee of the Year. This plaque will be displayed in the Madera Unified School District Administrative Office. Paula, please come and accept this year's award. Can we get a picture? Thank you.
You wanted her to take a picture of me? I can film. Way too young to wait. Congratulations. Congratulations.
This is really beautiful, you guys. Wait.
Turn that around.
Oh, it's this way.
There you go. You got it.
It's backwards, you guys. Oh my. No, good afternoon.
That's. She's friendlier than that. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Mrs. Sewell. Item AA2, presentation of the winners of the Hispanic Heritage Month poster contest presented by the Association of Mexican American Educators and Madera Unified School District. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, I just want to make sure that, Paula, you know this. I started out as a paraprofessional in special education at John Adams Elementary School, and I can tell you this seat is perfect for you. I want you to keep that in mind, all right? Posiblemente, ¿por qué no? Right? I would like to introduce this evening our Culture and Climate Director, a very talented lady, Ms. Karen Diorian, who's going to talk about our really distinguished partners with AME. And I'm really glad they're here. This is one of our favorite moments of the year when we all get to celebrate some really outstanding artwork from our students. So Ms. Diorian, if you would, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, trustees, and Superintendent Lyle. Actually, I'm not going to take the mic for too long and talk because this is a really special night that we wait for each year. It's an honor for me to bring up Mr. Garcia from AME to award our Hispanic Heritage Poster winners. Mr. Garcia, if you would come up. AME has been a long-standing community partner with Madera Unified and has been giving this award for nearly 10 years now.
20 years.
20 years. So we're excited to give the 2023 recipients. Go ahead, Mr. Garcia.
Alex, as we get started, I think it's really important you share with everyone your connection to Madera Unified over the years. You're not just walking in cold off the street, right? You
No.
live this for a career.
That's true. Yes, my name's Alex Garcia. I'm the president of the Association of Mexican American Educators here in Madera with the Madera chapter. And I taught here in Madera Unified for about 22 years, total teaching 32 years before I retired back in 2009. And I've been involved with AME for, let's see, maybe 40 some years, probably 1975, I believe I joined AME.
And the majority of your career at Sierra Vista, another connection.
Yes,
for this
all
evening.
22 years
That's
at
right.
Sierra Vista Elementary. Yes, that's correct. I just wanted to welcome everyone here and board members and community people that are here tonight. We have a special awards this evening. As you know, one of the high school student representatives pointed out that the Hispanic Heritage Month is coming up starting September 15th to October 15th. And I'm very pleased to see that that's going on at some of the high schools. So we've been doing this poster contest, which is open to Madera Unified junior high students or middle school students up through high school. So we've been doing it for over 20 years now. And the competition has gotten really, really good. So you can see when we show the posters here in a second, that the results have really come out. And I know we used to do our bulletin board right over there, but and I think down here on the hall, I believe some of the past posters are up. So if people want to see some of the
We
past
have a
years,
frame gallery of
right, a frame gallery that was done by Johnny
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. Yeah, he did an excellent job, by the way. So I just want to talk a little bit about our organization. This year, the Madera AME chapter is celebrating 50 years as being a chapter here in Madera. And I think that's quite an achievement for any organization to be around for 50 years. So our organization began in the 1960s, 1965 to be exact. And the main goal at that time, and it still continues to be our main goal, is to promote equal education for Hispanic students here in California. And our organization does that. And we also offer scholarships to Madera students, senior high school students to go to college of $1,000. So those of you that are seniors, be looking out for the AME packet. I can't remember what number we are, but talk to your counselors. And also we also promote this Hispanic Heritage Poster Contest. That's another big event for us. We also advise school districts on educational issues and concerns. We have promoted bilingual education and dual language education. We also promote English language development for students who do not speak English, so that they have a program that they and path that they can learn English in a very quick manner. And we also work with teachers and parents to help them and advise them in other areas. So with that I'll go ahead and begin our program. And let me see, I have to pull out the here we go. And I'll start with our first place winner. And I'm sure some of you as students, when you're in your classes, look to inside the classroom, because some of the I hope most of the teachers are putting up their posts, because I asked some of the students when I called them, the recipients, they said they did see the poster up in their classroom. So I
There's
think
several teachers shaking their head behind you right
that's good. Okay, yeah. So anyway, so that's printed up courtesy of Madera Unified. They print up 1,000 posters and they give them out to all the students, teachers in Madera Unified to put up in their classrooms. So without any further ado, I'd like to present our first place winner, Erica Cruz Salazar. Could you come up, please, Erica? And Erica, this is your original poster and we framed it for you. And congratulations. This is yours. And we also have a certificate for you. And best of all, a check for $100. And if there's some people that want to take a picture, maybe we should hold that a little bit lower. You don't block the picture.
And Erica, our tens of thousands of followers in Zoom land out there are hoping they can see it. So when they're done, please spin it around.
You get a picture, Jenny, for it? Okay, great.
There's also a little
Congratulations.
stallion pride in the room here.
Don't lose that check. Oh, with her parents, yeah. Good, Jenny. Thank you.
Erica, would you?
Oh, I'm sorry, board member.
Let's walk that just a little bit that way so the people out in Zoom land can see it. Yay.
Thank you, Erica, and we appreciate your fine artwork and you taking the time and taking the class to participate in this art contest. And to your amaze, you were our first place winner. And now I would like to call our second place winner, Diego Salazar Angel. Diego, would you come up, please? This is your original artwork that we framed for you. And this is your certificate. Whoop. Your check. Your check for $75. Want it up higher? No? I'll hold this for you, okay, Diego? Oh, you want to come on up? Come on up. I love 'em.
Proud woman.
No te olviden el cheque.
Did it bounce off the floor? Asking for a friend.
Okay, great. And then we're gonna turn it around.
Please.
Diego. A little bit back more. Right there. A little bit. Maybe.
Diego, what school do you go to?
Madera High.
Madera High School. You're
Madera High
Coyote.
School. I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Coyotes and TU.
Diego. Thank you for the great artwork.
President Salazar. President
Now I'd like to
Salazar.
call up our third place recipient, and that is Nishoni Gallegos from Madera South High School. And here's I remember those days of the huelga. Esa Chavez, very important person in our. Oops. Maybe I better hold it for you. I don't want it to fall. Here we go. Los padres quieren venir. Back up a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more, right?
There you go. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Shani, thank you for your artwork and we appreciate your contribution and celebrating Hispanic heritage. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Todd Lyle and school board members and community for allowing Ahmed to present these awards this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Director DeRoyan and President Garcia, and congratulations to the winners. Awesome job on your drawings. The Madera Minutes, Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board and general public, this is a time when we celebrate the really exciting things happening in our culture. You heard a lot from our board reps tonight. You got to see some exemplary artwork, and let's see what the rest of the district's been up to for the last few weeks.
Madera Unified is proactively raising its district's safety and security standards by partnering with Evolve, a cutting-edge technology company specializing in advanced threat detection solutions.
At Madera Unified School District, the safety staff, we're trying to create the safest learning environments for our kids to learn. And that's what we've done through all our systems that we have in place, whether it be Evolve, whether it be the Raptor system, Titan. There's so many systems that we have in Madera, which a lot of people don't know about, but we have those systems in place. Our cooperation with our local probation department, with our local law enforcement agency, Madera PD, those collaborations together are built for a safe learning environment. So we're really excited about this new system, this new feature that we're adding, technology, Evolve, weapons detection system to make our campus that much safer.
With the introduction of this detection system, MUSD aims to create a safer environment for students and staff across the district's high schools and middle schools. On the same safety topic, MUSD students co-produced a video encouraging their classmates to download the Stop It application. The Stop It application provides an anonymous platform for students to report bullying, harassment, or other safety concerns to their schools. The application is available for 4th to 12th grade students and MUSD families. And other things, showing the Pershing Elementary positive character traits such as respect, responsibility, safety, and pride, gave 7 students a 2-wheel reward. Valley State Prison Bicycle Refurbishing Program in Chowchilla donated 7 refurbished bikes to the school to be gifted to students. Forest World Champions Madtown Robotics 1323 team continues to get the recognition they deserve, this time at the Madera Fair. In front of hundreds of fair attendees, the Madtown Robotics team received their championship rings. The team won the world recognition in April after competing against more than 600 teams from around the world. And on the topic of recognitions, the Madera Chamber of Commerce hosted its annual Salute to Education reception and award ceremony at the Madera Fair. 28 educators from Madera Unified received the Distinguished Teacher of the Year award for their outstanding efforts during the 2022-2023 school year. Teachers are nominated and chosen by the school side peers based on their exceptional, skillful, creative, and dedicated teaching. It was a night filled with blue and purple pride as Madera High School and Madera South High School went head-to-head during this year's Stadium Road Showdown. The local event was held at the Stallion Stadium for the first time, bringing in hundreds of spectators from all over the town and beyond to see this rivalry. Ultimately, Madera High School retook home the stadium's road showdown saw with a 48-0 victory. The night had a special coverage from the media and Madera Unified's communications department, who highlighted the game, creating memorable social media stories showcasing all the action happening on the field.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Public hearing for visitors who wish to speak on a subject not on the board agenda. Mrs. Martinez.
15 minutes of this portion of the meeting are reserved for members of the public to address the board on items not listed on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the school board. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. If the subject is an item on the agenda, the board president has the option of asking the speaker to hold the comment until that item is called. Comments on items listed as a public hearing on the agenda should be held until the hearing is opened. The school board is prohibited by law from taking action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda, and no adverse conclusion should be drawn if the school board does not respond to public comment at this time. If you wish to address the board on an item included in this section of the agenda, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they appear on your screen. Comments provided in writing will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have any participants who wish to address the board at this time, and we do not have any comments submitted in writing.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Public hearing. I would like to inform the public that the following public hearings listed in this section. Not yet, but let me announce this first. I would like to inform the public that the following public hearings listed in this section are for items included under old business. The public will have another opportunity to comment on items when they are discussed later in this meeting. Under old business, item number 12A, 6:45 p.m. public hearing for school facility needs analysis, authorizing the leveling of fees of the alternative school facility fees on residential agreement. It is time, at this time, at 7:30, and I open the public hearing. Mrs. Martinez.
If you wish to address the board on an item included in this section of the agenda, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they appear on your screen. Comments provided in writing will be read after the live comments.
Good evening, trustees. My name is Alex, and I'm a resident here in Madera. I'm actually here on behalf of the Madera Association of Realtors, and I'm also a member of the bond committee, the oversight bond committee too, for both Measure G and Measure M. I'm here to speak on the school facility fees. I've been coming to this school district on this topic for, I think, 14 years now, for a long time. This time I'd like to discourage you to not raise the fee and not lower it either. We can keep it just the way it is right now. According to the presentation given, I think a couple of weeks ago to you, the proposal was it can go up to $7 and so on the school facility fee, which I think is unnecessary at the moment. Number one, there is a surplus in your bond monies right now, and there's, I don't think, any need for capital improvements that the monies that's in that surplus can't handle at the moment. Not going to talk about house prices, not going to talk about affordability, anything like that, because your job, of course, is to provide facilities and improvements throughout the school district. But I just want to discourage you from increasing that fee at this time. We don't need it at the moment. the school district doesn't need it, appears so according to the presentation given by staff, again, a couple of weeks ago. It's not necessary unless there is something that we, the public, are not aware of, that something is happening within the facilities that you need to increase it right now. Then I think the public needs to hear that first, then come up with that proposal. But if there's nothing other than regular maintenance that needs to be done throughout the school district, I don't think that it's advisable for the school district to raise that fee at the moment. There's a surplus of funds happening right now at the moment. And of course, I also understand in a few years, we'll have King Hussein Elementary School or K-6 school coming up here pretty soon, which will also help up with your population. And I know the school district is actively looking for future land. And of course, the Association of Realtors is going to be your partner in trying to pass any future bonds too. But for the moment, we don't need the increase in those school facility fees. Again, the public feels that the school district has plenty to take care of those things for right now. Thank you very much.
Ms. Martinez, do we have anybody else? Gentleman
President
in the
Salazar.
back, were you gonna come up to the podium, please? State your name and your residence of Madera.
My name is Johnny Baltierra, and I live in the Riverstone community in Madera. So President Salazar, Superintendent Lyle, and Board, thank you for allowing me to share with you. So what I do is Bridge to College. What is Bridge to College? Bridge to College is a nonprofit organization that provides leadership workshops on college readiness, college tours, and scholarships for underrepresented exemplary students. We have 5 students in our program, and one of them is a senior. So in May 2024, we award all our seniors a $1,000 scholarship. One of them from Madera Unified will get a scholarship for $1,000. We're inviting you, President Salazar, and the board to our dinner, where we will award our 12 seniors from the valley, from Fresno, Madera, Kings County, $1,000 scholarships. In March of 24, we're taking these 31 students, one 8th grader from Madera Unified, and other students to visit UCLA, USC, Woodbury, and California Institute of the Arts. So we're going to visit 4 schools in 3 days, and we, Bridge to College, pay for everything. So we want to invite you to our dinner in May, and we'd love to have you come to our dinner. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Ms. Martinez, any other for the public hearing?
President Salazar, we do not have any more participants who wish to address the board at this time. And we do not have any comments submitted in writing.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Seeing or hearing none, I close the public hearing. Information and reports. Item 9A1, Educational Services, review the request for the clarifications on behalf of Madera County Superintendent of Schools, Local Control and Accountability Plan. Review team of 2023-24, Madera Unified School District, LCAP, as part of the LCAP review process per CA Education, Code 52070. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board and public, this is one of those challenging items where the gift always keeps on giving. It is our intention to utilize the LCAP for the greatest amount of transparency possible for our community and for your comfort and trust in the work that you are directing us to do. And we work in partnership with Madera County Superintendent of Schools to make sure that that adheres to the law. And so as such, we've made some very important revisions, and we have Associate Superintendent Sissel, who's taken this one on her shoulders and is here to explain it to you. Ms. Sissel?
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, members of the community. Tonight, I'm here with our CFO, Arelis Garcia, and we will be presenting to you the clarifications that were requested from our approved LCAP. And so I want to kind of say a couple things before we get into that, just so that everybody who's present, listening, and with us understands what part of this process we're in. So as part of the review process, Ed Code allows for an LCAP review team to provide written notice of any areas in the board-approved LCAP that may require clarification and allows the district time for meeting with the review team to ensure that all LCAP requirements have been met and that any necessary clarifications, technical corrections, or additional information that were needed for the adopted LCAP to be approved by the county superintendent of schools have been addressed. So where we are in this process, so that everybody is aware, our LCAP was approved by you all at the end of June after a first and second read in the month of June. And then prior to June 30th, we submitted our approved LCAP to Madera County Superintendent of Schools, where they convene a review team, and that review team goes through our document with a fine-tooth comb, and their job is to find anything that they would like clarified. And then basically during the month of July and August is when the team from Madera County Superintendent of Schools reviews and brings it to us. And then we had a deadline of September 8th to submit this back to Madera County. And so tonight, I would like to, with the help of CFO Garcia, take you through the areas that were called out by Madera County Superintendent of Schools Review Team and asked for clarification. So we're going to start with the budget overview for parent review. And just before we go any farther, I want to make sure that you all have the packet perfect. And then you should also have a revised page 5. And this will be important for what CFO Garcia is going to speak to you about right now.
The intent of the budget overview for parents is to simplify what the LCAP encompasses, align to what we budgeted for the 23-24 expenditures and how the two are communicate. So that in the graph that you have in your hands, the green bar represents the total budget general fund expenditures. The blue bar represents the LCAP expenditures. And as you can see, the numbers are different. So I want to explain to you that not all the general fund expenditures are in the LCAP, and the LCAP includes other funds other than general fund. It's very important to keep that in information because that is going to explain why the two numbers are different. The total budget general expenditures, we have 408.8 million. And from that, 11 million is for the STIRS on behalf. Every time I present the budget to you, I explain that the STIRS on behalf, that is just a transaction that we are required to put in our books. We have the revenue and the expenditure side, but it's not a real expenditure for the district. The state requires that we account for what the state is contributing on that retirement system in behalf of our employees. So that 11 million is not in the LCAP. So the 408 million minus the 11 million is 297 million that it is in LCAP. So that if you take the subtraction of the two bars, the difference is a negative 13 million. So we have more in the LCAP that are general fund expenditures. So go to the next slide, please. So over here, we have the projected expenditures. And so the way the budget overview is showing is that we have a negative 13 million, meaning that we have more expenditures in the LCAP than it is in the general fund expenditures. But we also have in the LCAP Fund 21, that is all building fund, Fund 13, or child nutrition, Fund 12, California preschool program. And those three, the budget for those three funds is 24.3 million. But if we take the STIRS on behalf that is not in the LCAP, that is the 11 million, that makes the 13 million of what in the parent overview shows that we have a negative, but it is we have more budget in the LCAP that or general fund expenditures. So Madera Unified has always included all general fund expenditures in the LCAP, excluding the STIRS on behalf. And that is to ensure transparency and accountability. And it was a request from the prior board. I think, I don't know if not everybody was in that board when we first started doing the LCAP. And so that's the reason that we include the whole general fund expenditures in the LCAP. Any questions? Okay, next slide.
All right, so the next area where we needed to provide a little bit of additional clarification. And if you don't mind, if you'll turn to page 21 in your LCAP packet that was provided to you. Hopefully it's page 21 for you guys. So this is the section on differentiated assistance. And for Madera Unified, the differentiated assistance, to be eligible for differentiated assistance, any student group has to have either scored in the lowest or the highest rating in 2 or more areas from the California State Dashboard. And the areas they look at are chronic absenteeism, suspension rate, the LP, which is the English Learner Progress Indicator, the English Language Arts portion of our state test, the math portion of the state test, and or graduation rate. So in our original LCAP that was submitted to you, we had this table that you see on page 21. What I didn't have in there was the explanation for how we came to choose as a district. African-American students is going to be the student group that we're focusing on, and we're targeting their chronic absenteeism and the suspension rate. So in our revised version, where you have in the red writing below the table, that is an explanation of us recognizing that we did have a number of groups that we could have chosen from, but we've created an advisory committee here in the district, and that's being co-led with myself and Assistant Superintendent Prince Marshall. And we are focusing, so our differentiated assistance plan is being built around our African-American student group, and we're focusing on strategies to decrease their suspension rate and increase their attendance. So that was the clarification that was necessary for that. Is there any questions I can answer on that one? Okay. All right. The next section is the engaging educational partners. So I'm going to ask you to turn to page 51. So this was sort of a misunderstanding on my part on what this prompt was asking us. And essentially what we were supposed to do, and I did not do in the first reading, was show what actions that we actually wrote into our LCAP that came out of our multiple community engagement meetings. And so I created this table to show the public and to show you all that the table shows who the recommendation was made by, what the LCAP goal it falls under, then its action number, and then I gave you the new action. And for the public who's here, who is looking up at the screen. So from our DLAC advisory committee, there were 2 specific actions, 2.23 and 3.11. Both of those actions are related to improving services and programs and professional development for our English learners and our newcomer programs. So that's what the DLAC committee recommended, and those are written into our LCAP now, and there's budget assigned to those. Our PAC recommendations are 3.12 and 4.7, and those recommendations, PAC's top 2 recommendations that the board has budgeted and that we've have written into this LCAP is the implementation of the Advanced Learner Academy for all elementary schools. And also, put my glasses on for this one. Additional support staff based on the social, emotional, behavioral, academic, and attendance needs by the site to create and sustain emotionally and physically safe learning spaces for all students and families. I know some of you were in that PAC meeting with me, and we had a very long conversation around parents and feeling like not every site needs the same thing, and site leaders should have the opportunity to have budget allocated to address their needs. So that in a nutshell is what that action is saying. Also, I wanted to give credit to our student trustees from last year. They were really a big part of the student voice section, which is called out. But the one thing that they were most adamant about, and I think I shared this previously, was 3 of our 4 trustees from last school year were all newcomers, all went through a newcomer program. And so they were very passionate about their families and their, I don't think treatment is the right word, but the services that they were provided and wanting to advocate for other newcomers. So that student trustees, I think, played a big part in the 2.23. And then lastly, there, one of the major groups we meet with is district administration. So that can be school site leaders or district administrators. And so there were 3 actions that were new this year that were budgeted, and that was acquiring facilities to develop programs to expand our expanded learning opportunities program, expand our metrics to monitor and improve the student success of meeting the college and career readiness indicator. And lastly is the expansion of the migrant education program. And to be honest, it's not really an expansion at this point. It's the maintenance of a migrant education program. That program has been moved under the Department of Johnny Gonzalez and state and federal funds. And we're working closely with Merced County Office of Ed to build that program back up. But we found out that you make money based on a certain criteria and checklist. And so our budget was significantly cut through Merced County. And so we believe that that's a program that's worth investing in and maintaining. So those are the actions that can be reflected specifically from the engaged educational partner feedback sessions that we held last year. Can I answer any questions on that section?
On acquiring the facilities for the district administrators, are some of them going to be part of acquiring some of those facilities? When we get to that point, are there going to be some of these that have input on the district for acquiring some of the facilities and develop programs? Are these some of these district administrators going to be part of some of that decision making?
Yes.
Well? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Next section. So for those of you who are sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for me to move on, this is the largest section of the LCAP. This is the actual goals and actions section. And those of you who have lived this with me for the last however many months it's been know that I've done a lot of learning and have a lot more to do. But at the end of each goal section, there are 4 prompts. Take my glasses off, I get dizzy when I look up. So at the end of each goal and set of actions, there are 4 prompts that the district is required to look at. So for action 1.1, we flip to the end, we have to do what's called a goal analysis, and we have to look at 4 questions for every action in our LCAP. Well, one of the areas that we were asked to clarify on was specific in goals 1, 2, and 3, and those are our largest goals with the most actions under prompt 2. So we didn't get too many questions on what prompt 1 was or prompt 3 or prompt 4, but it was really around prompt 2. And what prompt 2 does is you have to explain if you have a difference between what you budgeted for an action and what you actually spent on an action. And so we asked for clarification because our understanding was that it had to be considered a material difference. Normally, when you are asked to show a material difference, they will give you guidance on a dollar amount. So when we asked about this, we were given that the state doesn't define a material amount. So basically, the review team went through and identified actions that they felt like we needed to better explain why there was a discrepancy between what we budgeted and what we spent. So I think the easiest way to do this is Aurelis went through and compiled sort of a summary for you. So if you turn to page 57, this is going to be where, and I did put it in red so that if you see anything in red throughout the document, that's a good indicator also that that's something we had to change or clarify on. So on page 57, under prompt 2, you will now see that there is 1, 2, 3. There's 6 actions that are listed there. And what Aurelis has shared with us is that actions 3, 9, and 10 spent less than was budgeted, and those were due to vacancies and contracts coming in lower than what we had estimated. And then action 1 had a higher budgeted amount, so we went over our estimated budget, and that was because the original action was just for Lavina preschool. If you remember, we took Lavina and made them a full day licensed program. And last year, we didn't make any other preschools full day, but we did license every single state preschool program. So now we have 14 licensed preschool programs. So we spent over what we had originally allocated in that area. So that's the differences that we needed to clearly explain to you all on goal 1. Are there any questions Aurelis or I can answer on that?
Any questions, trustee?
Okay, let's go to 67 and 68. Just to be clear, goal 2 is referred to as the monster by us because it's up to, I think, 26 or 27 actions. So taking each one of those through a 4-prompt analysis was daunting at best. So you will see here that under goal 2, actions 2, 12, 16, 17, and 18 spent less than were budgeted again, and this was due to unfilled positions. We actually have closed a CalSafe program that was at Mount Vista, and we also allocated a pretty significant amount of money when we implemented after-school tutoring services. We were well, we didn't try, we did. We implemented a program where we paid teachers to tutor students after school. Unfortunately, the participation in that was lower than we had anticipated. And then action 4, 10, and 14 were ones that we actually spent more on. And the reason we ended up spending more was because when this document was originally written, we didn't have expanded learning funds. Now we do have expanded learning funds, and you guys have heard a ton of information about all the great opportunities we've provided. So essentially, we were able to allocate more funds because we were able to offer more expanded learning opportunities. We also expanded our paraprofessional positions, and with the leadership of our parent resource centers, we developed the Parent Champion video series in 4 languages. So those allocations were higher than we had originally allocated. And now those are all associated with goal 2. So can Aurelis and I answer any questions around goal 2 and the clarifications?
Trustees, any question? Keep on going.
All right. All right. And then the last area in the goals and actions that we were asked for clarification on under prompt 2 was under goal 3. So if you look on page 79 in the red print, you'll see actions 3, 6, and 7, again, were under their budgeted allocation. And the majority of where we did not spend our allocated funds was because we simply didn't fill all the positions that we had hoped to. So actions 3, 6, and 7 are all associated with staff, and there was a number of unfilled positions. And so we were under budget there. And then on action 9, I believe we spent over, and that was to support the implementation of the 7-period day in middle school. So that covers, we didn't get any clarifications necessary in goal 4, 5, and 6. So in the goals and the goals and action section where we had to provide you clarification was on goals 1, 2, and 3, and it was all around prompt 2. Any questions before we move on?
Questions, trustee? No,
Okay,
they're still awake. Keep on going.
what's that?
Still awake. Keep on going.
Okay, so the next one is on the increased or improved services section. So the increased and improved services section is where we report on the actions that are funded using our supplemental and concentration grant funds. And those are the funds that are generated by foster youth, English learner, and low-income students. So if you go through here, and it probably looks a lot like my math papers did in high school, there's a lot of red ink. And so I'm going to start with you on page 97. So just to give you a summary before, because I don't think it's necessary for me to take you through the like almost 20 pages of this, but I think it's necessary to explain why there's so much red ink. So when our document was written, the way the increased and improved services section is the expectation is that we have to show how the actions that we're funding with S&C funds are benefiting our unduplicated pupils first. Doesn't mean that you have to spend it only on foster youth, low income, or English learners, but it does have to show how that action is going to benefit them and how that action considered them in the process. And so in order to do that, you have to come up with a number of metrics. Every single action has to be tied to something that is measurable. So if you look on page 97, I want you to start there. What is in black font is what had been there for the last 2 years. What you now see in red font is the additional metrics that we felt necessary as you go through, and I'm sure on your own read all of the revisions in here. But what we felt was very necessary was to add some additional metrics. And the ones that we added were based on the board's goal around the NWA growth targets in math and reading. That was not one that as a district we were utilizing, and we felt like that was pretty important that we do that. And then we also grabbed data around the percentage of English learner students who were scoring an overall 4 on our summative LPAC assessment. And one of the areas in here talks about parent involvement. And so we had to come up with some evidence that we were getting surveys back from parents, and it was under goal 1, it was under early childhood education. So we provide, or we use a tool called the Desired Results Developmental Profile. And it turns out that it actually has a parent survey component. And so you'll see there, which I think is some pretty interesting data, and it helps justify our investment in early childhood education and even the possible expansion of full day preschools, because these were the Lavina parents. So I think it's 13 parents who completed this survey, which I know is not a huge number, but that program only keeps 15 kids, and it gives you specific data there around what those parents were able to do because we provided a full day service for their students. So we felt like that was really important. And then we also added our panorama survey data because a number of the actions that we use S&C funds for is around increasing and improving student engagement. So those are the new metrics that we added. So now if you actually, I'll just let you start. You look on page 98, probably, you can start there. And for the sake of time, I want you to know that for every action, I had to rewrite. So you'll notice every theory of action description is rewritten. I know you don't want me to take you through every one of those tonight. What I want you to know is the reason they're all in red and the reason they were all rewritten was because they were not tied to a measurable outcome. So now if you read every one of them, it's going to say, if we do this, then we will see this improvement in this area, and we will measure it based on one of those metrics that's listed on page 97. I hope that makes sense. But I was required to rewrite every single one because this review team was not comfortable with our previous description of how we were going to measure the effectiveness of those. So this is the section where you see the most red. But what I can tell you is if you go through and you look at that, now you'll be able to, you can tie every one of those theories of action to one of the metrics listed on page 97. So I hope that's helpful. The only other thing we had to do in this section was they didn't like language that was like open-ended. So in previous versions of this, a lot of times it was said certain groups of students. They said you can't say certain groups of students. So we had to go in and identify the groups of students. It was mentioned multiple times in here, historically students with high needs. If you're going to say historically, then they expected me to put historically what that meant was this many years. So rather than try to go back and do all of that, we just cleaned up that language and removed leading sentences like certain groups or historically students. And it doesn't change the intent of the action or the description of how we're addressing the needs of the kids, but it made Madera County happy. So I did it. Okay, I know this is a big section, so I'm gonna ask the scary question. Do you have any questions? For clarification?
Trustees, do we have any questions?
From my own, so this is the revised version, current revised version. So
Yep.
we should discard the other one and just follow this if we have any questions in the future, right?
Yep.
So this has even the ones that you were saying, the historically and all
Yep.
of that. Okay.
No, the version that you have is you have the red pen version. As soon as McSauce tells us that it's approved, we will get you all your own bound non-red print version.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Okay, so Arelis is
I
going,
have a quick question.
oh, yes.
So all this is tied in with the NWA, like on page 97, it's tied into NWA, the different targets to be met for the progress.
Not every action is tied to academic success. So you're not going to see every single action that calls out NWEA as a metric. There are some actions in there that are tied to parent engagement or tied to.
So my question is really that in the future, what metric can we use to see that some of these goals are being met with some of these funds?
I don't know if I understand.
So in LCAP, right, is based, like here is based on the parents' resources it goes to, but in using some of those funds in these different categories, what metric are we going to see or use to we can look at as a guide to how these funds are being applied and how actually the accountability that it is working in those different categories?
Well, that's supposed to be what this section does. So you're asking Now, at the end of this year, how are you going to know if it was effective?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we actually do that there's a set of tables that we have to, let me show you. If you look at, let's go, it's right at the beginning of, we'll say goal 1. So if you look on page 52. For each, so the one thing about the LCAP is things are repeated they're in multiple places. So where you'll see what I think you're asking for, President Salazar, is you want to see, okay, if we're looking at MAP reading fluency, how are we going to know if it was successful year 1, year 2, year 3? So if you look on that page 52, for every single set of goals, we have
There's the
these
outcome.
metrics here, and we have to build in the metrics here as well. So that's actually where, if you're looking at it to see how successful it was, that's where you look, and it's broken down by goal 1, goal 2, goal 3. And then those metrics that are on 97 are built into our measuring and reporting tables.
Thank you.
Okay.
I actually do have a question as well.
Sure.
So, you mentioned the board goal, and, on page 97, I see the two bullet points there. But are they, and so they're supposed to be linked to the tables that follow starting on page 98, correct?
Not everyone.
Not everyone? Are
No.
those?
So if you go through and look, so as an example, action 1.2, okay? That's around implementation of full day preschool at Lavina, okay? We're not going to look, preschool doesn't take the NWA MAP growth assessment. So you'll only see it referenced as a metric that will be used to measure the effectiveness if that action is associated with grades 3 through 8 and 9
Grade
through 11, essentially. So that's why there's such a wide list, because these are all metrics and not all metrics apply to each action.
Okay, so, so not all of those bullet points are linked to, or referenced in one of those tables starting on page.
They're all there somewhere, but they're not associated with every action. So the action that is looking at early childhood is going to be looking like at DRDP results, and is going to be looking at panorama survey and those types of things. But because the littlest children don't take the NWA
Right.
growth assessment, it won't be tied to those actions.
Okay, so those two bullet points for NWEA growth targets for reading and math are not. They're not linked to or referenced to any of these tables. Oh,
They will
where is
be.
it? I guess. Oh,
But I think the clarification is not to everything.
right.
Not everything that we're required to do
Right.
and provide is linked to just ELA and math.
So if you
Right.
look at 1.9, page 99.
Okay.
Okay. If we continue to provide families integrated resources and services through the parent resource centers, then parents of low income, emergent multilingual foster youth students will receive resources to improve their quality of life and provide additional support in partnering with the school to improve their child's academic performance on the following measures: MAP growth in reading and math, also in summative LPAC assessment that all English learner students must score an overall 4 in. So what we're saying is, if we increase the understanding of our parents' knowledge about what the expectations are for their students, and we're going to utilize parent resource centers to do that, that they're going to be able to help their students. And the end result is going to be that parents are going to be able to parent better and support their children better. But also at the end is, we would look at the MAP growth data for the appropriate grades to see hopefully that their academic outcomes are improving.
Got it. Okay, so the reason I guess why that I was prompted to ask that question is because you mentioned the board goal, but I don't see it in writing here in the LCAP. I don't see it.
I'm sorry, you were prompted to ask the
Well, yes,
question?
the reason I asked that question is because you mentioned the board goal as it relates to the NWA, and it's not explicitly called out in writing. Well, at least I don't see it here in the LCAP.
So this section is on the actions, and what I was referring to is, prior to this, we didn't have listed that we were even looking at the NWA MAP growth assessment as a way to measure the effectiveness of our actions. I felt like because it is the board goal and that's the metric we're using to address student growth, that it made sense to be written in here. So no, I didn't put like the board goal as, 80% of students meet or exceed. What I showed you is where those three performing groups currently are. So we know that our low income students that met their progress goal was 40%, ELs was 42%, foster youth 38%. So we will track the progress of those students, and that's in comparison to, obviously, if it was 80%, we would have had that percentage of students meeting their growth goal. So no, I didn't call it out in terms of like 80% or 80% of students will meet their growth target. I wanted to reference that the actions, we are using the MAP growth assessment to measure how our students are growing, which is aligned to the board goal.
Thank you.
Okay. I hope okay. All right. Okay. Before I turn it over to my lovely Arelis Garcia. All right, there you go.
So, yes, the last slide, and I'm not gonna take long. So we also have to revise the action tables, and they are at the end of the report. So starting on we're gonna go kind of backwards. Page 128, we have to revise the LCFF-based grant. We have a clerical error there, so we have to update that amount, and that it comes from the LCFF calculator. So doing that, it recalculated the percentage of increased and improved services that recalculated. So that led to the carryover percentage. Before, in the first, the LCAP that you approved back in June, it had a 0% carryover. So now we have a 0.18% carryover. That means that we didn't spend enough LCFF dollars on the unduplicated students. And so we have to carry over 358,000 to the new year, to the 23-24. And so then on the 23-24 planned amount in the annual update table on page 119, we haven't at the action 5, goal 5, action 7, that is the design and implement the student champion course. We didn't have a dollar amount because our full training and implementation on the student champion, it was in 22-23. But then as we start the new year, we have the need that continue to train the new employees that come in and train them on the same student champion that initiative that we have in our district. So we only have to do the classified because certificated is embedded in their contract. They use one of their days to do the student champion, but for classified, we have to do it in a non-contracted day. So that's why we only have, we added $5,000. We can always spend more. But we started with that amount. So we make that addition, we add the 5,000 and we reduce that 5,000 from our goal 6, action 1 to balance it because it still have to match our budget. And so clarify contributing actions on the 23-24 table in page 125 to 127. When in the adopted LCAP, the amounts were not updated. They were the same as 22-23. So Madera County Superintendent of Schools were trying to figure it out why the numbers were not matching. And so we were able to figure it out that the numbers were not updated. Like they do copy and paste from the tables that are from the Excel to make it fit the format. And so we updated those numbers. And then lastly, on the contributed action tables, we have to add that carryover that came from 22-23. We have to add it in the 23-24. That is the 0.18% carryover from 22-23. Any questions?
That 0.8.
$358,000.
All right, so this is not an action item, information item, so we will be eagerly awaiting the approval from Madera County Superintendent of Schools. And as soon as we have our final approval from them, we will make sure that each of you get the most up-to-date and correct version of the LCAP. It'll also get posted on our website and be ready to be shared with our Parent Advisory Committee. Thank you.
Ms. Sissel, just before you go, I
Sure.
think it might be important. Some of our trustees have remembered when Mr. Sargent has come up here and lauded the district for being so transparent and for putting together such a thorough and like thoughtful LCAP. And now this one is full of all kinds of revisions. I think it'd be important for the trustees to know that the scrutiny that Madera County Superintendent of Schools was asked to engage in was different. And the level of critique was different than in years past, even though the LCAP has
Not changed.
not changed, but the level of oversight and expectation has changed. And our district has changed a great deal since this was first put together. So there's historical context to how we got here. And it's not, this is my characterization, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but the goalposts moved on us pretty substantially, everyone in the state, as we prepare for the new LCAP template. And we're locked into this one, so we're adhering to it. Am I accurate in my generalization?
Yes. I learned a lot.
Thank you, Ms. Sissel. I know you worked hard on this with the
Thank
staff
you.
and everything in the committees and all the town halls and nights, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now we go on to 9B, union time. At this time, I invite the presidents of the unions to address the board. Mr. Holder?
I'll be brief. Board President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, board members, Superintendent Lyle. Many of you were there last Thursday for the Salute to Ed at the Madera Fairgrounds. That was the second time that the event has been put on at the fairgrounds. Unfortunately, this year we only had to endure like 94 degrees versus last year when it was 104. And that's hot, especially when you got a suit on, because, you know, with that said, it was well received. Again, many of you were there. The teachers that were Teacher of the Year from last year were honored, as well as the Friends of Education who received their awards. And then that was Thursday. Friday at the City Hall, board member Fleek was there, where graduate Matilda Torres High School Jose Vargas received his $5,000 scholarship from State Senator Ana Caballero. And it was a very nice event as well. And that's it. I will end there. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Holder. Any other union presidents? No? Okay, thank you. Superintendent's time. Superintendent Lyle?
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board. We were at the Crystal Tower Awards on August 29th to celebrate Dan Riley and Steel Structures. They were nominated by College and Career Readiness Director McKenna. Two of our Madtown Robotics students shared their reflections on the difference Dan made in their pursuit of excellence, whether through coaching, financial support, or friendship. And thanks to Dan and his staff and the staff that supports his volunteerism, it made a huge difference. We wanted to thank Madera Community, Madera Compact, EECU, Camarena Health, and Madera County Superintendent of Schools for sponsoring the event, and thank President Salazar and our staff for attending. The chamber event at the Madera Fairgrounds, as was referenced by President Holder, was a fantastic event. It was really fun to see everybody all in one place. The food was great. Sugar Pine Smokehouse did a really nice job. City Council, our City Council members were there in force. Mayor Garcia was there. Congressman Duarte. It was very dignified to honor all of those excellent teachers. And MUTA did a great job in honoring our Friends of Education. So for all the good they do and on behalf of our students and our teachers as well, we want to thank MUTA for that, and also our trustees and site leaders. There were lots and lots of them, along with district leaders, were all present. The Madison DLI parent meeting was held on September 7th. I think the trustees should be well aware of this. We were there to discuss the new construction plans that will accommodate 7th and 8th grade at Madison. Parents had a lot of questions and they were answered by Deputy Superintendent Schwartz and Director Cox, also Director Ochoa and her team, and Principal Espinoza. As people left, they commented on how professional the entire thing was. They had a few questions, but felt really good that so much was disclosed and so much interaction was available to our parents. So thank you for everyone involved. Yesterday, our DLAC met for the very first time this year, and we're ready for them to have a really strong, effective year of parent leadership. The training started with Robert's Rules of Order. I want to thank Director Ochoa and her team for getting that together. And we look forward to another fantastic year of parent leadership from DLAC. The Stop It app preview, which you heard referenced tonight in our presentations from the high schools, happened last week. And Trustees Guillen and Santos, our former student trustees, should be thanked for inspiring the relaunch of the Stop It app. The video was created by Winsong Productions and Toro Theater students, along with leadership students from across the district, made a real difference. We have had over 6,000 student downloads, and we have about 9,000 students in secondary. So we hope that there will be more. We did hear, however, that students have so many apps on their phone that there wasn't a whole lot of memory left available for that one. So priorities. The video is out in Spanish as well as English, and will be released to everyone if it has not already been this evening. And lastly, I want to talk very briefly about the Evolve system, which at first was challenging in terms of staffing, but our safety officers and administrators have really dedicated themselves to student and staff safety. So they've really worked through those bugs. By day 3, the implementation was very smooth and it was operated well for easy entry to our schools. Not only has this been well received by parents and grandparents, our students and staff are reporting that they feel safer. We also have seen a dramatic decrease in contraband on campus, and we appreciate that quite a bit. And we have plans to make even better use of the system as a deterrent. And we all thank the trustees for such an important investment. And just so the trustees know, there are lots of districts all over the state and beyond watching, asking questions, and wanting to come visit because we took a big step and they've been waiting for somebody to have the courage to do it so they can learn. We're there to show them. So thank you for that. Thank you for Lawrence and his team.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Item number 11, consent agenda. Mrs. Martinez.
Items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and are acted on by the Board of Trustees in one motion. There is no discussion of these items prior to the board vote unless a member of the board or staff requests specific items be considered and discussed separately and/or removed from the consent agenda prior to the adoption of the agenda. It is understood that the administration recommends approval on all consent items. Each item on the consent agenda approved by the Board of Trustees shall be deemed to have been considered in full and adopted as recommended.
I now open the consent agenda for public hearing, a public comment. Mrs. Martinez.
If you wish to address the board on an item included in the section of the agenda, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they appear on your screen. Comments provided in writing will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have any participants who wish to address the board at this time, and we do not have any comments submitted in writing.
Thank you, Mrs. Martinez. See no one come forward. I close public comment. I now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. State your name when making the motion and when you second the motion.
Trustee Dybert, I move the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you.
Trustee Seibert, I'll second that.
Thank you. It has been moved by trustee Dybert and second by trustee Seibert to approve the consent agenda. There are two resolutions listed in the consent agenda. Ms. Martinez, please pull the board for the record.
Trustee Duque Martinez, trustee Garza, trustee Ahmad, trustee Cortez,
Yes.
trustee Dybert,
Yes.
trustee Fleek,
Yes.
trustee Seibert,
Yes.
clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
president Salazar.
Yes. Thank you, Ms.
President Salazar, oh,
sorry,
excuse
go
me,
ahead.
I'm sorry. President Salazar, I counted 6 ayes, 0 noes, 0 abstentions, and 3 absent. None of the votes were preferential.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Martinez. At this time, I would like to take the opportunity to thank and acknowledge the following retirees for her service, not only to Madera Unified, but also for her service and commitment to the Madera community. Alicia Caballo Garcia, teacher at Parkwood, who will retire on June 6, 2024, after 36 years of service. Kearney Hayes, bus driver, who retired on September 5th, 2023, after 7 years of service. Superintendent Lyle, do you have any administrative announcements?
I do. I have a really exciting one for us this evening. We have a new vice principal for the Proud Knights of the Rose at Rose Elementary School. This gentleman has been with us since 2016, and over 7 years, he's been a teacher at Desmond, a founding teacher at MTech, a culture and climate coach. He's supported his colleagues in that role. He's been a migrant teacher on special assignment, and his story is one that many of our students and colleagues will relate to well. This provides him some really powerful personal insights needed to connect with the experiences of our students, our staff, and our parents. We're proud and hopeful that Sir Fabian Casillas Iniguez, our new VP at Virginia Lee Rose Elementary School, will embrace the role left behind by Mr. Kwasnick and be the support that Mr. Navarro needs this year. Fabian, welcome to this new role and congratulations.
Thank you.
Clap softly. Clap softly. Clap softly.
Good evening and thank you, Board President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, esteemed members of the board, Superintendent Lyle, and all of the educators, families, and community members here tonight. It is with a great sense of honor and a deeply felt responsibility that I humbly accept the position of Vice Principal of Virginia Lee Rose Elementary. Sorry. I have seen firsthand the incredible work being done by the Rose Knights staff, and I'm excited to offer them my support now and always. Thank you, Mr. Carrasco and Mr. Navarro, for welcoming me to the Virginia Lee Rose family. And thank you to the mentors who have guided me throughout my career in Madera Unified. I consider myself truly lucky to be able to follow their example in the pursuit of student excellence and equity in all we do. Most of all, I would like to thank my darling wife, Alex, our beautiful son, Gabriel, my parents, Bruno and Laura, and all of my family for their support and inspiration. I look forward to diligently serving the students, teachers, and families of Virginia Lee Rose to the best of my ability. And I thank you again for trusting me with this immense responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Fabian. You're going to do a great job. It all starts really fast. Be ready to learn. The steep learning curve is straight up and down. It begins tomorrow. And that absolutely. And I'm just so jealous of that head of hair.
Okay, now we go to item 12, old business. Item 12A1, administrative and supportive services, request adoption of the resolution number 11-2023-24 that approves the school facility needs analysis authorizing the leveling of alternative school facility fees on residential development. Superintendent Lyle.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board and public, we have Deputy Superintendent Schwartz here for this item. We do it every year. We know it. And we also are adhering with our past tradition of making 0 recommendations to this board about what's best for this community. Shannon, you're on.
So good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and trustees. At the August 22nd board meeting, Director Cox presented information on the residential developer fees and the school facility needs analysis in preparation for tonight's meeting. Tonight, the board is being asked to adopt resolution number 11 that approves the school facility needs analysis, authorizing the levying of alternative school facility fees on residential development. And as the superintendent mentioned, staff has not made recommendations in past years and will not this evening as well. This year's SFNA, or the school facilities needs analysis, justifies the levying of a level 2 fee of $7.83 per square foot. Currently, the district collects $5.04 per square foot. And obviously the board, as you are well versed, has the option to set that fee anywhere that they would like. And so at this time, I'm here to answer any questions or as the board deliberates to serve as a resource.
I now open this for public comment. Mrs. Martinez.
If you wish to address the board regarding this item, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided in writing will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have any participants who wish to address the board at this time, and we do not have any comments submitted in writing.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Seeing no one come forward and I close the public comment. Trustees, do you have any questions for staff? Trustee Dybert, I start with you.
Yes, thank you. I'm new at this, so bear with me. I have a question. What's the difference, and probably refresh my memory, I don't have my other presentation from the last time. What's the difference between level 1 and level 2 fees? And what is used for, how the district utilizes that money?
So great question. Level 1 fees are statutory fees that every school district in the state of California can charge. And those fees are established by the state allocation board. And every 2 years, they are adjusted based on the construction index for the state of California. So they were last adjusted in January of 2022. We anticipate an adjustment here in January of 2024. So just a few months away, the level 1 fees we suspect will increase slightly. I can tell you, I did a little research. In 2022, they went up 17%. In 2020, they went up 7%. And in 2018, they went up 8%. And as I mentioned, it's really based on the cost index for Class B construction in the state of California. So escalation costs in construction. So level 2 fees, school districts that meet certain requirements, and I can bring that up. If Frank, can you bring that presentation up? There's 4 criteria that if school districts meet 2 of the 4, they are allowed to charge level 2 fees. And the 2 criteria that our district meets, let's see, Frank, can you keep going? Let's see, right there. So level 2 fee, and you can see at the bottom, Rosalind has, you need to satisfy at least 2 of the 4 requirements set forth in that ed code there. And it's, does the district have substantial enrollment on multi-tier year-round enrollment, which we do not have year-round schools, so we wouldn't qualify there. The district has outstanding capital facility debt equal to 15% of the current bonding capacity. We are way over that. So we do definitely meet that. And at least 20% of the district's classrooms are relocatable. We meet that. So right now we're about 23% of our classrooms are portables. Down from a few years ago, we were closer to 30%, but after we've built MTech and we've built Torres High School, it's dropped down to it's between 22 and 23% of our classrooms are relocatable. So that's the reason that we're able to assess level 2 fees. Not all school districts meet 2 of those 4 requirements, and so they assess level 1 fees. The use of those fees, they can be used for the same exact purpose. It's to provide housing for students generated through new residential development.
There are no certain criteria to use. You can use level 1 or level 2.
You use them for the exact same
for the same
reasons.
thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
the rationale here is level 2 fee district. The district does not have the ability to raise as much capital through debt. So you can't go issue COPs because you've already have a high debt ratio. And the idea is that you are behind kind of the 8 ball, for a better lack of terms, because you have so many portables on your campus that you're trying to catch up and replace those portables with permanent buildings. So those are it's the rationale why school districts that meet these criteria can charge additional fees.
That's good for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Cortez?
Yeah, so our level 1 fees, are those required fees?
So school districts are not required to charge any fees, but you will not be eligible for certain state grant funding. So there's different programs, and I don't have a list of what each one is, but you do not have to charge level 1 fees. You just would have to raise revenues in other ways to meet like your state matches, things like that. So, but there's nothing that says you're required to charge any fee. The only way that you're required to charge a fee, and we're not in this boat, is if you are trying to qualify for what's called a financial hardship, where the state pays for a larger percentage of your facility projects. We do not at this time qualify for financial hardship.
So we're not required, but then again, we wouldn't get certain matching funds.
That's correct.
Trustee Fleek?
No questions.
Trustee Seibert, I'm sorry.
It was said earlier in the meeting that we've got plenty of money. But we look at our long-range plans to build the Madera High Stadium and improve Madera High School. We don't have enough money in our.
I would agree with that. We have probably over $200 million in facility projects on our facility list that the board looked at our facility workshop. Currently, right now, we've got about $50 million still in bond authorization. To be honest, we can't sell all $50 million right now because of the bonding capacity that we have. We could probably access today maybe 30 of the 50 million, because if we sold all 50 million, it would take us over that $60 per $100,000 threshold. That's a statute for issuing GO bonds.
So the last time we passed a bond, we're going to build what, 2 K8s?
That's correct.
Do some other improvements and stuff. How far is that money going to go?
So the last GO bond, we stated that we were going to complete MTech and build 2 K8s. We've completed MTech. We have enough to complete King Hussein, which is the first K8. We do not have enough to complete that second K8.
We don't have enough money to remodel Madera High School, which we have in our plans to do, but somehow we got to find that money to do that.
That's correct. We have
about 200,000 more that we have to get in order to complete the projects we look at that we need to do.
So modernization of Madera High School, it's a huge monumental task. Depending on the scope of the work, you're looking at anywhere from, 20 to $150 million to truly modernize that campus.
Build a new one.
Yeah, it is almost, considering all the infrastructure there, we're always chasing infrastructure problems at Madera High.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Clerk Mendoza.
No questions.
Myself, sounded
Yes.
was on the analysis report, we had on there, on the report said that part of this, the analysis was, we had 570, we will have 572 students unhoused. But that's not take into consideration the new school, King Hussein, which is TK through 8th, which is about 1,200 students that will be housing there. And to Trustee Seibert's comment on Madera High, the modernization, a lot of it has to do with the stadium and the gym and those kind of things. It's not really housing a student. That's not going to help our housing of our students.
That's an accurate statement.
Yeah, on
Yes.
those expenses.
Yes.
So focusing on housing our students, and then some of the portables that we have instead of our older schools is because those schools are older and we've had those portables have been there for a while. So, but anyway, those are the comments I wanted to make. I know on our budget currently, we have like over $6 million on that budget for the facility fees. But anyway, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And now I entertain a motion, what fee?
Actually, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead,
I
Trustee.
have one more
Cortez.
question. So how much have we spent in construction over the past 20, 15 years versus how much we've collected in fees?
Oh, I couldn't give you that. I mean, 20 to 15 years. If I'm just running off the top of my head, you're going to force me to do some math up here.
Not to interrupt you, but it's here. If you have the developer fee information she gave us, she went back to 2006, how many permits and then how much we collected and how much square footage. So she actually provided that for us on the builder
actually,
fees.
Can we look it up and can we look on the screen?
Yes, on page 12.
Can you
Please.
go to that? That will show us was that your question? How much did we collect in developer fees versus how much we actually have spent in construction, right? I mean, in construction,
It's two different things because construction, we
Right.
get other revenues for that. We get matching funds and stuff.
right. But I think that was the question,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
We've spent over $300 million in construction over the last 15 years. And then you can see here, we collect about $2.5 million the last couple of years in developer fees.
So 2 million, over 2 million in fees.
Yeah, you can see here in
I didn't
20,
bring my glasses. so-
yeah, the last year, 22, 23, we collected 2.6 million. In 21, 22, we collected 2.5 million. In 2020, 21, where we had 378 residential permits pulled, we collected 3.8 million.
Is that for both level 1 and 2, or is that just?
Yes,
level
we don't charge level ones, we charge level two
Charge
fees. So you don't get to charge both. It's level 1, or you can charge the higher amount, level 2, which we charge.
Okay, got it.
So right now, the clarification before we move to motion is if we're going to increase it to the 783 or leave it at the 504 that we have currently for this resolution,
Or establish whatever
whatever. You
level
want us-
2 that you would like.
Want to do level 1 fees is 479. So the motion would be, you would say level 1 or the level 2 or stay where it's at the 504, I believe that it is. So that will be in your wording, whoever makes that motion.
One of my concerns is that we want to give accessibility to have their own homes to families, the working families that are establishing in Madera. So I know the cost of the developer fees are passed along to the buyers. And I think there is a sense of pride once a family moves into an area and owns a home. Because that's what happened to me and my son. Because for us, it was very difficult to buy a home. For me, single mom. And So once you own a home, you own a little part of that school. So for me, that's very important, the accessibility of families, working families and families that, you know, have that dream of owning a home. I just wanted to make a comment on that too. So we need to look at our families.
I agree on,
Okay,
with
trustee.
that. And I also think that, you know, especially in my district, you know, my district, you know, there's, you know, heavily, you know, very dense, social, you know, low socioeconomic, you know, families. And so this, I feel like that cost would trickle down to them, making it even harder for them to afford to buy a home. So, that's going to affect our students directly.
Okay, thank you,
Well,
trustee.
No,
Clerk Mendoza, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if there's no other discussion, I'd like to make a motion.
That's what I was gonna just. Thank you, Clerk Mendoza. I now entertain a motion and a second to approve item number 12A1. Please state your name when you make a motion and second. And when you make a motion again in your wording, the motion you make it what you're asking for the board to approve, being the title level 1, 479, level 2, it's 483, 783, I apologize. Where we're at right now is 504. I now entertain a motion.
Clerk Mendoza, I move to maintain the current level 2 at its current rate. 504?
Do I have a second for that motion?
I second that motion.
It has been moved by Clerk Mendoza and second by trustee Dybert to approve item number 12A for the facility fees to be at 504, to remain at 504. Ms. Martinez, please pull the board.
Trustee Duque Martinez, trustee Garza, trustee Ahmad, trustee Cortez,
Yes.
trustee Dybert,
Yes.
trustee Fleek,
No.
trustee Seibert,
No.
clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
president Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar, I counted 4 ayes, 2 noes, 0 abstentions, and 3 absent. None of the votes were preferential.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. New business. 13A1 Fiscal Services, request approval of 2023 unaudited actuals financial report.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, we have CFO Garcia here to chat with us about this, and we're closing the books, and it's always a very challenging endeavor indeed. Ms. Garcia?
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, trustees, Superintendent Lyle. Yes, tonight we're gonna review the 22-23 unaudited actuals and also the 23-24 modified budget. So we're gonna look at enrollment, revenue and expenditures, interfund transfers, ending balance and reserve, one-time funds update, cash flow, checkbook balance, multi-year projection, other funds, and our section 115 OPEB trust. So the enrollment in attendance for 22-23, our enrollment was at 20,151. Our actual attendance was at 18,495 or 92%. Because we still are under the prior year guarantee, we were funded at 95% as previous years. Before the pandemic percentage that the district has been the average of attendance. So we were funded. But for 23-24, the story is going to start changing. So the estimated enrollment is at 20,312. Last week enrollment was at 20,200 and some other kids, some other students. So we're already lower than the estimated enrollment. So our attendance is projected at the actual attendance at 18,584 or about 91%. That is taking the average of what the attendance has been in the last 3 years. After the pandemic, attendance has not recovered. So we have not been 95% as in previous years. So, but we have a new calculation that the state approved, and now they are gonna take current year, prior year, whatever is higher, current year, prior year, or the average of the last 3 years. So we are calculating our LCFF in the 3-year average. So the 3-year average is gonna be about 18,964. So about 93%. So what time will tell us, but it doesn't seem that we're gonna go back to the 95% unless we really look at strategies, how to help our schools to bring students to come to school, more, those students that are not coming the 180 days to help them to come to school. I think we are doing things. We are doing things at the schools that keep our students motivated and also excited, with the options that we're providing our students, especially at elementary school. So our general fund revenue for 22-23, we received 464 million. From there, 10.6 million was for the STIRS on behalf. As I talked to you earlier about that requirement from the state that we have to show in our books the revenue and the expenditure of the STIRS on behalf. So for 22-23 was 10.6 million. Unrestricted funds, 269 million, restricted 195. The LCFF revenue, 283.8 million, and that includes the 6.56 COLA increase plus the 6.7 base grant increase. That 6.7 was a one-time increase to the LCFF. COVID-19 relief funds and other one-time funds, we received 91.7 million. That 91.7 million, most of the revenue is from the Learning Recovery Grant and from the Arts, Music, and Instructional Materials grants. And we received those funds already. And so as we don't spend them, we'll carry them over to the following years. And so for the Arts, Music, and Instructional Materials, we have until 2026 to spend those funds. For the Learning Recovery funds, we have until 2028. So we also have contributions. Remember, the LCFF also funds special education and the routine repair maintenance account. So that's why you see that the LCFF revenue is higher than our unrestricted funds. But it's because we take some of those funds from unrestricted and fund the special education that is in the restricted side and the routine repair maintenance account. For 23-24, we are estimating 424.3 million, includes 11 million in STIRS on behalf. Unrestricted funds, 285.5, restricted 138.8. The LCFF revenue includes a 8.22 COLA increase, and so that brings us to 305 million. COVID-19 relief funds, we still have 39 million. Remember, it's the last year that we're receiving COVID funds. And the COVID funds, they are not sent it to us in advance. We have to spend them first, and then they send us the money. Yes. These are the graphs that shows by percentages for 2023 and also 23-24. As you can see, LCFF is the largest portion of our budget or revenue. General fund expenditures for 22-23, total expenditures 406 million. Includes the STIRS on behalf. 294.5 million was in salaries and benefits. And that includes the 6% increase that our employees receive in 22-23. Special education, we spent 30.5 million. Routine repair and maintenance, 10.2 million. Remember, we have a 3% requirement that whatever expenditures that we have in general fund, 3% has to be spent in routine repair and maintenance to keep our facilities in good shape. Transportation, 7.7 million. Utilities, 7.5 million. For 23-24, we we budgeted 494.3 million. 11 million is the CARES on behalf, 298 is in salaries and benefits, and it includes the 4% increase that our employees receive for this current year. Special education, 34 million. Routine repair and maintenance, 11.5 million. Again, that 3% requirement. Transportation, 8.5 million. Utilities, 8.5 million. And we also have a carryover from the restricted funds. Whatever funds we didn't spend in prior year, 22-23, we're carrying it over to 23-24. So we have a 79 million that we have to add to the budget in 23-24. And most of the carryover is for ELOP. We have 20 million in carryover for that fund. For that program, remember that we have a carryover from 21-22. That was 8 million. We already spent them. So now we only have the carryover from 22-23. So we're expecting to look into facilities to spend those funds for the extended learning programs. But of course, time is what we don't have enough to look for the facilities or build the facilities. The other portion of the carryover is for the arts, music, and instructional materials, 10 million, and the learning recovery emergency block grant, 32.8 million. And there is the graphs for the expenditures. And as you can see, we are in the people's business. And so we need people to educate our students. So almost 80% is in salaries and benefits when we take the interfund transfers. So that's my next slide. The interfund transfers. So in 22-23, we transferred 31 million to other funds. So we did 25 million to the building fund, Fund 41. Capital outlay fund is Fund 40, 1 million, and the debt fund is Fund 56, 5 million. So the debt fund is what we pay the COPs. We still have the COP that we took for Torres High School, and we're paying 5 million a year to pay that COP, to make the payment. For 23-24, we have in the budget 16 million to be transferred to the building fund, 10 million, capital outlay 1 million, and the debt fund, again, 5 million. So these are some of the projects that we're funding with the building fund, Fund 41. The stadium at Torres High School, only 2.4 million is being used from Fund 41. It's 6% of that. That total cost, or the estimated cost, is about 38 million. But most of the fund is in the from Fund 35, the state match. Remember, we received a state match for Virginia Lee Rose and for Torres High School. So we're using some of those funds to build the stadium. The TK expansion is we're doing it right now in 4 schools, and 18 million is being taken from Fund 41, or about 80%. Another 4 million, it was, the district was awarded from the state. So Lincoln School qualified and was awarded 4 million to do the TK expansion. But the other 3 schools, we have to fund it with Fund 41 in the meantime. Hopefully they will qualify someday. Good. The solar project fully, the next 5 projects fully funded with Fund 41. The solar project, the Madera High School Fieldhouse, Madera High School Stadium modernization, Madison expansion for grades 7 and 8, and the TJ kitchen and modernization are being funded with Fund 41. So the ending balance and reserve for 22-23, 165 million. So when we take the non-spendable, and the non-spendable is our inventory and petty cash. Remember that we have an inventory at the warehouse. And at transportation, we have inventory too. And so that is 678,000. And we also have vacation accrual of 636,000, and that is for the employees that are contracted 255 days, or mostly is classified employees. They accrue vacation in the books, and so we have to keep assign that amount, that if they are going to take all their vacation that they have in the books, that's how much it's going to cost us. The restricted funds, 79 million that I explained to you earlier, the carryover. And we also have committed funds. So we have lottery funds that are committed for textbook adoptions. And we also have concentration funds that we have set aside for to provide services to unduplicated students. And salaries and benefits are paid with, now I call it one-time funds because COVID, and now we have other grants that are one-time funds. And we still have 22 million to make sure we have the money to absorb those positions when those funds are depleted. So here is an update of the one-time funds. They are listed there as all the different funds that we receive, and also included the deadline by when we have to spend those funds. And as you can see, most of them has been depleted. They have zero balances, but in 23-24, we have budget for, we still have ESSER 3 funds that are gonna be depleted at the end of this fiscal year, and I'll make sure that's done. And we also have the arts, music, and instructional material and the learning recovery grant that I have talked about it. We have 10 million in the arts and music and 32 million in the learning recovery. And you can see that the deadline for those funds is 2026 and 2028. So even though they are in the budget, the whole thing, it doesn't mean we're gonna spend them all. So but whatever is not spent, we're gonna continue carrying over the funds until they are depleted, and we'll make sure they are depleted by the deadline. This is how our cash flow ended every month last year. So in June, we ended with 217 million in cash at or with the treasurer's office. So in the next slide, I'll explain how what exactly all that means. So the cash in county was the 217 million, and the fair value adjustment, and that has happened already. This is the second year, the third year that has happened, that the value of the cash at the county treasuries has to be reported at the market value because they have our money in an investment pool. So the rate that was valued on June 30th at the end of the fiscal year was at 96.32. So for every dollar, it was worth at 96 cents. 96 cents, yes, every dollar. So we were like 4 cents lost. So we have to account for that loss in our books, and that's what you see as a fair value adjustment. So we, or from the 217, 8 million is like what we lost. And so we have to show that in our books. So 209 million is what our net cash in county. So from there, we have liabilities. That means that we owe money to an agency or to a vendor, and we have to show that in our books. And that is as of June 30th. And so we have accounts payable, so that means vendors or different invoices that we received the products by June 30th, but we have not paid the invoice at that time yet. So we have 19.2 million that we owe. Health and welfare, we have a pass-through account that we pay our health insurance, and we have 6.5 million in there that is to pay, because in July, we don't have, most of our employees are off. They don't have a paycheck. So we don't get a health and welfare deduction from a contribution from their salaries. So that's why we have to keep in our books worth about 2 months of health insurance to pay those months when we don't have the funds from salaries from or when our employees are being paid. Employer taxes, 755,000. Retirees health and welfare, 792. We also have, paid the insurance for our the retirees that still qualify. We have due to other agencies. Remember that the arts, music, and instructional materials grant had a decrease. Well, because they have already sent us the fund, we have to send the funds back. And so we have to account for that in our books. So that's why you see there, we have to pay the money back to this the state. Luckily, we have not spent the funds, so they are there and we have no problem giving them money back. The CSAP is, we have $1 million, and that is the program that our classified employees are participating. The state matches every dollar that they save, dollar per dollar. So every year in August, they start their deduction, and the deduction can be up to 10% of their monthly earnings. So if they save $1,000 for their summer, the state gives them another 1,000. But of course, we have to tax them, right? Nothing's free. So they receive their 1,000 that they already saved free of tax, plus the 1,000 minus the taxes from the state. So that is a really good program. Our employees loved it, and it will not, as long as the state matches and provides this program, they will be participating. Deferred payroll, you can see that is 0 because we already pay our teachers, the certificated staff. They also have a summer savings. They have no match. So whatever they save is what they receive. Use tax liabilities is just what we, for the last quarter is what we owe to the state. And we also have due tos and due froms at the end of the year, make transactions like sometimes we owe, like general fund owes the cafeteria fund, sometimes the cafeteria funds owes general funds, so all that transactions are in the due to and due froms. And the deferred revenue is whatever money we receive from the federal or state that does not allow carryover, we have to put it as a deferred revenue to bring it to the new year. So after we take all that money that we owe, we end with 40 million. But we also have agencies that owe money to us, and that is the 24 million that you see there, and that's our ending balance of 165 million. Here is the new revenue from the LCFF and the new expenditures that we are expecting for the next 2 years. And so this builds our multi-year projection. So for 23-24, it's current year, and we have the COLA at 8.22%, and that brought us 20 million in new revenue from the LCFF, but we have 19 million in expenditures. So we have a small surplus of $500,000. And as you can see, we have to pay for the stepping column increases, salary increases, the 4%, and the classified study, we have already set aside, some money because we have to make some adjustment on some of the positions that came out lower in the salary study. We have PERS, health and welfare services, new positions that were approved in core staffing. And we have 20% increase to the school budgets and 10% increase in the department budgets that we added this year. And so we are gonna need some equipment for the Torres Stadium that hopefully is still in track to be open in December. Yes. And so we have to equip it, right? They are gonna need from, I don't know, custodial equipment to maintenance equipment. And so we're setting aside 300,000 to cover any equipment that is gonna be needed. And minimum wage, of course. So for 24-25, the estimated COLA is 3.94%. That will bring us 9 million in new revenue. We have to cover some new expenditures as well. And so we also, that year is when the COVID funds are no longer available. So we have to absorb the positions that we're right now paying with COVID funds. And so we are gonna, we're gonna use whatever new revenue we have, but whatever we don't have, you can see we have a deficit of 8 million. It's gonna be covered with the committed funds that we have in the ending balance. For 25-26, the COLA is estimated at 3.29%. That will bring us another 9 million in revenue. And again, we're gonna cover the normal new expenditures. And we also are anticipating that we're gonna be opening Hussein Elementary School at that time. So we're gonna have new staff especially classified staff, custodian, admin assistant, secretary that are gonna be added to that school. And of course, startup funds for all the one-time things that they need to equip the school to be in good shape for the students. So we see that we're gonna have enough new revenue to cover those new expenditures. So if everything happens the way I said it, that we're gonna end it with an ending balance of, for 22-23, that is 165 million, but 23-24, 95 million. But after we take all the assigned and committed funds, is the unassigned and reserve 47 million, and that meets the 10%. Remember, we have the requirement to meet the 10% reserve cap. We have to maintain it every year. So for 24-25 and 25-26, no more COVID funds. So our ending balance is gonna be getting lower, but we're still gonna have enough to maintain that 10%. Here are the other funds. General fund is what I already explained very in detail. Total revenue, 464 million, expenses 375. Transfer out, we transfer out the almost 31 million that I explained earlier. So that give us an ending balance of 165. The student activity and special revenue is our accounts at the schools, the student body accounts. And so we had a beginning balance of 829,000, and we have a 1.1 million in revenue. We spend pretty much about the same. And so we have an ending balance of 841,000. Adult education, we have a beginning balance of 536,000. Revenue 1.7 million. We spend it 1.7 million. As you can see, the fund is operating within its revenue. So we have an ending balance of 550,000. Child development is our preschool program. It started with 562,000. They brought 3.5 million, and we spent a little bit over that amount. And we had a transfer in because we had all accounts receivable. We were expecting 40,000 from the state. The state came back and say, no, we're not gonna pay you that. So you have to clear it from your books. So we have to do a transfer in from our general fund to cover that, that all accounts receivable. So we ended with 512,000 in the ending balance. Child nutrition is our cafeteria. We have a beginning balance of 5.7 million. We received 20 million in revenue, and we spent 18.6 million. So we have a higher ending balance, 7.7 million. The building fund is where we deposit our, when we do our bond sales. And so we have a 39.3 million beginning balance. The revenue that you see there is all interest. We didn't sell anything. We still have the 50 million that is still pending to be sold, but we're not gonna do it. Probably we're gonna start looking in the spring to do that 50 million. So that money will come in that fund 21. So we have expenditures of 2 million. We haven't had a lot of expenditures there. So we have a almost 38 million ending balance. And that is for the Hussein School. So it will be spent. Developer fees, we had a beginning balance of 5.8 million. We had a revenue of 2.9 million and expenditures of 2.1 million. We have a transfer out. Remember that we charge a 3% administrative fee from the general fund, because all our positions in like my fiscal department they are funded with general fund. And for the amount of time that we spend managing this fund, we're allowed to charge a 3% fee to this fund. And so that's the 81 or 82,000 that you see in the transfer out. So it ended with 6.4 million in this fund. And we're using some of these funds for the portable at Dixieland. The redevelopment agency, we started with 546,000, the revenue 1.2 million. And as you can see, it's only a transfer out of 1.2 million, and that goes to Fund 56 to pay for the old COP that we have from Madera South. So that is entirely paid with Fund 27. Fund 35 is our state match. We had a beginning balance of 53 million. The revenue was 6.8 million, and that includes the 4 million that we received for Lincoln School for the TK. And so we spent 9.5 million, so we ended with 50 million in there. And we're using some of those funds for the Torres Stadium, because in the prior years, we received the state match for Virginia Lee Rose and for Torres High School in this fund. So that's why you see that beginning balance there. Fund 40 is the reserve, special reserve capital. We started with 1.2 million. The revenue that you see there is 37,000. It's just interest that we received. We spent about $1 million, and we did a transfer in. So we have $1 million coming from the general fund every year to this fund. And this fund help us fix or repair things that are not allowable with the routine repair and maintenance. For example, right now we have some pumps that need to be fixed or replaced at some of the schools. I know we have Brenda and we have Desmond, the water wells that they need to be fixed or something needs to be done because they are now working, and those are like $50,000, $60,000 projects, and they are not routine repairs, so we need to use Fund 40 for that, for those projects. Fund 41 is our special reserve building fund. We had a beginning balance of 47.6 million. The revenue that you see there is all interest, 756,000, and we spent 1.7 million. And you see there the 25 million that we transferred from the general fund. And remember that transfer help us maintain that 10% reserve cap, and also help us build the funds to do all the facility need that we have. And I know that when we have the facilities workshop, we identify all the projects that the board already approved, and some that we already know that the board wants to do, but we have not started. But I know that some of those projects are like, we know that we're gonna do the TK expansion phase 2, 3, and 4 that are gonna be paid from there. So Fund 41, right now we have 71.56 million. Fund 51 is the bond interest and redemption. So after we sold the bond, the citizens of Madera has to pay for the bond, right? And so we had a beginning balance of 10.1 million, and revenue was 16.8, but we also pay 18.6. So we ended with a 8.4. These funds are not in our financial system. They are maintained at the treasurer's office. So at the end of the year, they send us the data, how much money they receive and how much money they paid. And we have to make sure that their beginning balance and ending balance matches ours. And we have to put it in our tax financials to report it to the state. So the debt, yes. Why the expenses are more than the revenue? Sometimes we refinance some of these bonds in there, and so we have to pay up front, like to get the bond off the books, and then it comes in a lower price. So when we refinance for that reason, to lower the bonds. And yes, so sometimes that's why the expenditure is like we're paying the expensive one, the higher price, but we're gonna save in the interest. Yes. Yes. So Fund 56, the debt service, is where we pay our COPs, and we have 2, and we had a beginning balance of 726, and so the revenue 12,000 is from interest. and we have expenditures of 6.1 million. So we pay about 5 million for the COP for Torres High School and about $1 million and some change for the one at Madera South. And so, but the transfer in comes from Fund 1 and from Fund 27. And so that's the 6.2 million that you see in the transfer in and out. And so the ending balance, 742,000. So lastly, we have the or OPEB, other post-employment benefit. And so back in October 2018, the board approved for the district to open a trust account with PARS, and it's through the US Bank. And so we are saving in contributing to this trust to build the funds to earn enough earnings to pay for the retirees' health and welfare in the future. So that way we don't have to pay with our general fund. So next slide. So here is the details, how the trust did in 22-23. So you can see the beginning balance was 8.8 million. We have that contribution of $500,000, and that was board approved. So every year we contributed $500,000. And so the earnings, you see some ups and downs during the months. So, but we ended with a positive earnings of 748,000. And of course, we have to pay fees for maintaining. So it was 27,000 that we pay. So we ended with a ending balance of 10 million. So in the row in the bottom, you can see that the district has contributed 9 million to this trust. We have earnings for the last, 4 years almost, $1,061,000 in expenses. So that makes the 10 million that we have in the ending balance. And so now I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Trustee Diber, do you have any questions for?
I'm going to wait until the other trustees ask questions, not at this time. Thanks.
Trustee Cortez?
Oh, thank you.
Trustee Peak?
No.
Trustee Seibert? Was for Dixieland Portable, wasn't it?
Yes. The expenditures, the 2.1 million, the expenditures, or the 82,000? The 82. Okay, so that we are allowed to charge a 3% fee for administrative costs. So for all the revenue that we receive, we are allowed to charge 3%. So that money, it's taken and put it into general fund. It's been done all these years, is how the way I learn it, but I can find out if we have to. Yes, it's the same way that we charge indirect to the restricted funds. Yes. Okay, I'll do my research to see if it's a requirement or we can not do it.
Clerk Mendoza?
Hi, Ms. Garcia.
Yes.
I threw me off with the OPEC trust earnings detail. Well, the money that goes in, how much money did it actually make?
Yes, so as you can see, we have about 9 million in the fund that the district contributed, and in 22-23, the earnings were 748,000 and some change.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I had a question on the enrollment and attendance. So the enrollment was estimated for this year, 23-24, 20,312. But right now attendance we have is 18,584.
That is the estimated. That's the estimated attendance.
Yeah.
So
right now we're projecting we're using the 93% because that's what they allowed us, right?
Yes.
Instead of the 91.
3-year average will allow us to be more or less, if our attendance is at 18,584, or average for the 3 years will be at 18,964.
Okay, and then I had another question on the minimum wage. Over the 3 years, you deduct 50,000. Is it because we adjust the minimum wage every year, or is it only because when the state requires it?
Only when the state requires it. And for now, it's gonna be, we are at 1550 until January. In January, we'll go to 16, and then it's gonna increase in the following 2 years.
That's projecting for
Yes.
those costs. And then explain to me on the checkbook balance on the fair value adjustment of the 8 million. What is that about again?
Okay. So the 8 million, so that is the fair market value adjustment. So we have the money with the treasurer's office. They have a pool investment where our money is. So at the end of the year, they calculate what is the value of cash.
Okay,
Yes.
so the dollar went down.
So we're lower, yes.
Okay, and then on some of these facilities, did you have 100% on Fund 40? Let me see, Fund 41. Those are where we're gonna be taking those funds from, for those
From Fund
projects?
41,
Yes, that's what we're gonna be taking from those projects on Fund 41, and that's the breakdown
yes.
that we're estimating.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, that's it. Okay. Superintendent Lyle, you're presented. I now open this to public comment. Mrs. Martinez.
If you wish to address the board regarding this item, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. Speakers will be allowed to address the board in the order they appear on our screen. Comments provided in writing will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have any participants who wish to address the board at this time, and we do not have any comments submitted in writing.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. See no one come forward. I close public comment. Trustees, you already asked your questions. Anybody have additional questions for staff? No, okay. I now entertain a motion, and a second to approve item number 13A1. Please state your name when you make a motion and second motion.
Trustee Cybert, I move to approve item 13A1.
Thank you. Do I have a second motion?
Trustee Fleek, all second.
Okay. It has been moved by trustee Tybert and second by trustee Fleek to approve item number 13A1. Ms. Martinez, please pull the board.
Trustee Duque Martinez, trustee Garza, trustee Ahmad, trustee Cortez,
Yes.
trustee Dybert,
Yes.
trustee Fleek,
Yes.
trustee Cybert,
Yes.
clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
President Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar, I counted 6 ayes, 0 noes, 0 abstentions, and 3 absent. None of the votes were preferential.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Announcements, Superintendent Lyle.
I just have two. On Friday, September 22nd, the Parent and Community Engagement Conference will be held at Torres High School from 5 to 7 p.m. Hope you can make it. It's been really good the last several years, and we have more partners lined up again this year. Second announcement is that the CLSBA conference is rapidly approaching and is scheduled for September 28th through September 30th, for those of you who are interested. If we have not already signed up, those who want to attend, we need to please contact the office and we'll get right on that for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Lyle. Item 15A, miscellaneous board committee and information reports. Trustees, there's an opportunity for you to provide the board updates and reports from committee meetings on events you have attended. I will start with trustee Cortez.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Trustee Dybert,
No.
Trustee Fleek,
Okay. Madera County School Board Association met at River Gold Elementary School in Course Gold. And that's where school board members from other districts in Madera County get together, and Clerk Mendoza is our president. Furman, Madera High, South, Torres, and Mountain Vista all had their back-to-school evenings. Information was given out about Title I, graduation requirements, and they also went over the A through G for those interested in college. Food was provided. Mountain Vista really went out and had a nice barbecue meal, including watermelon. Madera South had dinner for the stadium showdown. Unfortunately, one team does end up having to lose, but it's a good game anyway. Torres presented their Safer School video. Many students were acknowledged for their contribution to making the video. I walked out with a Windsong executive, and he was very impressed with our students and what they did to help make the video. Madison had their meeting about the DLI seventh graders for next year. There was information on how things will work out for all of Madison's students, plans and information on what the new buildings will look like, and each building's function was presented by our facilities expert Schwartz and Cox. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez Vargas, a 2023 graduate of Matilda Torres High School, was awarded a $5,000 scholarship from Anna Caballero. She represents the Senate 14th District. The Latino Caucus Foundation Scholarship Committee only awards 60 of these scholarships each year in California. Thank you.
Trustee Seibert. Clerk Mendoza.
I'll just add that on Thursday, September the 7th, 23, I attended the Chamber of Commerce Distinguished Teacher event. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On Trustee Seibert, and do you guys still have something to share? No?
Oh, yeah, Trustee Fleek was putting all the cheese on the hamburgers the other night.
Myself, I attended the Crystal Tower Awards, and thank you to Dan Riley that contributes a lot to our school district and to school districts and also to the students. And he was recognized, and that was very nice. And also on the 7th of this month, we attended the recognition of the teachers by Chamber and also from Madera County Schools District. And that's it. Okay. Advanced planning. The next regular board meeting is scheduled for September 26, 2023. Suggested future items. Trustees, do you have any items you would like to present as a future board meeting? I will start with Trustee Cortez.
No, thank you.
Trustee Dybert,
Not at this time, thanks.
Trustee Fleek,
None, thank you.
Trustee Seibert,
None at this time.
and Clerk Mendoza.
Nothing at this time.
It is 9:34. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending. Good night. Be careful.